Welcome back to OTR. Our Sunday roundtable, circle in the square, whatever you want to call it, has assembled. So we're joined this week by Democratic political analyst Marianne Marsh, Republican political analyst Rob Gray. Guys, you just heard the mayor, so let's just, right off the top, it was a week ago. What's your assessment of his handling of the past week?
Well, I think it's been very steady over the course of the crisis and consistent. I do think that not just for Mayor Walsh, but for all elected officials, this has been a very difficult test over the past week. And frankly, they're biting their tongue. I mean, these protests being out there are not great for the public health, for the COVID crisis, but it's hard to say that and be seen as somebody who's disagreeing is the issue, seen as somebody who's disagreeing with the issue because you're critical of it on a public health standpoint.
Look, I think everyone did the best job they could. I think the only outstanding issue, both for Marty Walsh and Governor Baker, is the use of the National Guard. As someone who lives in Boston, it is disconcerting to see Humvees all over the place, huge guns that you talked about, Eddie, with the mayor before this. And I want to understand why. Because 3 years ago, white nationalists came to Boston after Charlottesville and tried to use Boston to launch a nationwide protest to divide the country that now in hindsight looks like it was a dry run for what we saw last weekend and continue to see, that violence begets violence. And in that case, though, Boston police were able to shut it down without the National Guard, without Humvees and all that. And I thought Governor Baker's answer yesterday in his presser that was like, hey, it worked. I think we deserve more from that because it could set a bad precedent when there's someone not named Baker as governor and someone not named Walsh as mayor. And I think given what happened in Washington, D.C. and what Donald Trump has done with a militia-like operation, by his consigliere Bill Barr, disturbs everybody, and it should. So I think people in Massachusetts deserve to understand why that action was taken across the state and who was really behind creating that violence. We need to learn from what happened so we don't do it again.
Speaking of Governor Baker, he did something he doesn't do very often, which is openly criticize the president. Take a listen.
At so many times during these past several weeks, when the country needed compassion and leadership the most, it was simply nowhere to be found. Instead, we got bitterness, combativeness, and self-interest.
Marianne, was this a bit of a surprise? Does he need to do this more often?
You get the idea that Charlie Baker has quite the story to tell about kind of the bullying and political blackmail that Donald Trump put him through when he was trying to get PPEs, when he was trying to get ventilators, when he had to get Bob Kraft to fly the Patriots plane to China and back and send state troopers to JFK Airport so our goods weren't stolen again. The fact is, no one needs Donald Trump anymore to deal with COVID, to deal with the protests, or anything else. So I think Charlie Baker now, in an effort to protect Massachusetts when he was trying to get goods for us, is now in a position where he can speak out. But what we learned from other governors speaking out, including Democrats in particular, is that a bully is a coward and Donald Trump is both, and he backs down every time you challenge him, and people need to challenge him more.
Rob, what's your assessment of how Governor Baker's been dealing with the president?
Well, I think this was back to the future for Charlie Baker. Nobody, especially a Republican, was more critical of Donald Trump in 2016 when he was running for president and shortly thereafter. The governor, he didn't change his tune, but he just got quieter later. He endorsed Chris Christie in 2016. He did not endorse his old boss, Bill Weld, in 2020. Baker doesn't like Trump. Baker doesn't think Trump is a good president. Good for him for coming out and saying it more.
Next item, President Trump stopped off in Guilford, Maine for a quick campaign rally on Friday, but he did manage to highlight Republican Senator Susan Collins' notable absence, telling the crowd to make sure she endorses him. Rob, what's your guess on what she will do?
Well, it's very tricky in Maine. There's a dichotomy, the north versus the south of Maine. You notice that Trump went to the north of Maine. Collins was not with him. There are more conservative voters up there. Maine splits its electoral votes, one of only 2 states that does, and Trump is appealing to them. Collins' problem is she needs moderates and moderate Republicans in the south of the state to support her. By appearing with Trump, she potentially alienates those moderates. By not appearing with Trump, she alienates conservatives in the north of the state. Very, very tricky dance for her.
Marianne?
You know, it's always useful to remember that before Susan Collins was a United States Senator, she was Deputy Treasurer of Massachusetts under Joe Malone. And often that kind of it tells you how she's trying to have it both ways. So while Donald Trump was at a swab factory where they're throwing out all the swabs because he wouldn't wear PPE, the only swab Susan Collins will be dealing with in November is the deck of the Titanic, where she's rearranging deck chairs, because she is not going to win that race. And it's too late for her to try to turn against Trump. She's alienated the right on the Mainers. She's alienated the left. She doesn't have a primary. She will lose to Sarah Gideon, the Speaker of the House.
I think she's still the favorite. I think she'll win.
We'll see.